Hey guys, John here. Today we're going to be making this. And the cool part about this is all somewhat generative here in the sequencer. So we're using acid regenerating at 1 bar. So it's kind of different, but also kind of not really. So yeah, let's get into it. File, new preset. And for this, we're going to stay in the wavetable. And for this, we can go to probably analog and this compressed pulse here. It's got a lot of character to it. Now let's bring down the coarse tuning by an octave. So have something nice and buzzy like that. And then for our filter, this is already going to be an MS-20 low pass. And then we can do some of the sequencer probably and give it some modulation. So we have that so far. We're going to turn this down. It's going to get kind of loud. Okay, so we have that, and then we can go to our second engine and maybe make this analog and bring in probably 2 of these, detune a little bit. That's going to need some motion right there for sure. So we're going to use an LFO for that. Drag and drop this here, maybe bring that down a little bit. So LFO1, the retrigger source is going to be the sequencer start, and we're going to sync this. So it kind of does that. Yeah, that might be kind of cool. What would random sound like? Maybe unipolar? That might be kind of cool. Let's see. What about a triangle? Yeah, that's more rhythmic. We're going to stick with triangle for that. And then, yeah. So how would this sound like with drums? Okay. That's going to be kind of cool. Let's do some effects here. So we're definitely going to need some delay. And for this, maybe 8th note, bring this down. And how do we feel maybe about some distortion? Yes. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we have something kind of like that, and then maybe a little bit of reverb. Could we do that? Let's bring this size down. Decay. Obviously, we should EQ some of this stuff out too. We might even be able to do this with a high pass as well. So let's do something kind of like this. And again, we can use the utility engine with the sub down over here. Bring this to direct out and dial in our low end. And again, I'm going to put this on a macro because if we're going to have drums and all that, the low end's already going to be carried. So we probably don't really need that. But just in case, let's do that. Anyway. Definitely want this on a macro though. So it's going to be low on 20 initially, and yeah, that's going to be the range here. So cut off for this guy. have that, and maybe for... That should be okay. And now we can go into the sequencer and kind of maybe do some interesting stuff here. So I kind of want to do something with a minor thing. So we can go down here, go to probably natural minor, and then just roll some dice and see how that sounds. Now, if we're going to be missing some steps here, we should really probably dial in a little bit more of our delays here. Maybe ping pong. So this 1/8, maybe we can add another delay and keep this one at 1/4. No, maybe 1/4 dotted or something. Just have a little space in there. Have a little bit of that rhythm. Ping pong as well. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And EQ some of this as well. Okay, so now with our drums here. Okay, so that already is kind of cool. So I could probably... Let's see. Let's bring up our mixer here. It's going to bring down some of our drums a little bit here. So maybe that's moving a little bit too much here. We have our envelope. It's kind of covering a lot of ground. So maybe we can bring that down just a little bit. Okay, so we have this here. This is already getting kind of crazy. Maybe the delays are a little bit much. Just bring those down just a little bit. Some of the feedback as well. Could we add another distortion to this? Why not? Let's see what happens here. Okay, this is... Okay, I do like the dual delays here. That's kind of cool. But those delays are still quite a lot here. Dial those back as well. Also the low pass. We'll remove that because I don't want to see that. Maybe even a little bit less. Or what we probably could do as well is maybe delay it after the distortion. It might be a little bit nicer here. So we're going to move these up just a little bit like that here. And delay is going to go down over here. Let's turn this guy back on. And also maybe some... I want to try the multi-band. Okay, so that might be kind of cool. Check it out with the drums again. Okay, it's maybe a little bit too... I want to say maybe too low MIDI. So maybe what we could do as well is probably cut this a little bit more. And maybe also, maybe we can do some of that stuff as well with distortion. Maybe we can do a little high passing here as well. Yeah, that might be a little bit better. And maybe we can give more of this low end here. Or maybe not even down 12. See what normal sounds like here. Maybe square wave? Nah, I don't know. Let's keep it back down to 12. Kind of experiment a little bit here. But yeah, so with the low end, we could change some of that on a macro. For example, this might be a little bit too much here. But that might be also kind of cool. And let's do some randomizing. That's actually kind of interesting. We should put the resonance on the second macro, though, and now that I'm thinking about this, let's bring this down, and maybe something kind of high, and let's just put res, and then bring this up here. And that's just doing like some of the stuff with the random sequences. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in here as well. Maybe we could do, what's this, acid sour? Or you could just go to auto regen or something like that every, like, I don't know, half bar. Or even every full bar and just kind of see what happens with this whole thing. Kind of make it generative in that sense. We could go acid sour or maybe just acid here. Yeah, so even that can be pretty cool. Maybe we can bring some of that distortion back here. Yeah, so even just using that technique, you can come up with some pretty cool stuff as well. So we're going to leave it at that. So you could, if you'd like to, put the macro 4 here. So for the effects, you could either remove this sub and use this for the distortion macro, which is going to be this distortion and the first one up here. You could do some filter driving. Let's see what that would sound like real quick. Let's see in context. Yeah, so that might be kind of interesting with a little bit of drive there. So yeah, it's really up to you. You could put this, for this macro, put both distortion modules drive, the wet, dry, wet on that, as well as this one, and then put the fourth one for maybe delay and a little bit of the reverb here. Yeah, but something kind of like that. So this is kind of acidy, so I guess we're going to call this a cool acid sequence or something like that. So yeah, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.